Hello everyone, this is Agonea. We're continuing our novice playthrough of Lemuria. To catch up, we're on turn 29. We had just, well, surprise, finished our first war with Utgard. Atlantis and Lemuria has started a war on turn 28, and Argartha is ending the nap and starting a war on 31. So the next few turns are going to be spicy. So, in our first to do a summary of the last episode, we had our first skirmishes with Atlantis, winning 3, losing 1, but the winning 3 were nothing. It was just over land where Atlantis did not bring any reinforcements, and we lost a very large battle with them in the one province we lost. So let's go ahead and get through it. First, we forgot to add a PD. One thing we've talked about this in earlier episodes is leaving just one PD is helpful, just again because we get this acolyte, and with us doing fear and awe in our bless, really can save some fights. We haven't saved so many, but still, no reason to spend 1 gold to cause maybe, if we can even kill 1 unit, we're coming out ahead. So this was, I think we're up to mistake number 8 theoretically, but we lost that one here. But let's jump in to the last Utgard fight to send them off. So it looks like they kept all their troops here, they did not do anything, and so this is very much a cleanup of them. So say goodbye, Utgard. You've been a great opponent on the side, and we have now banished them. So Utgard is permanently vanquished. Atlantis comes out swinging. As you see, they attacked us in 5 different provinces, and we attacked in 4. So we'll go through each one. I think these are water provinces first. So Atlantis comes in. Again, they're bringing in a lot of these ice guards that just have solid ice protection, not as good as underwater, since underwater doesn't have temp scales, and bringing in these cap only mages. I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, and Anagok Angakok thing, so they will come through with our 1 PD. So again, they have quickness, so still trying to learn a little bit about what they have here, but it's going to take over ours and just rip through that ethereal. So that was 1. This is where they're attacking just PD, not going to look at it. Same thing where we just had a fort, and we had some defense there. And let's see what we're hitting here. So in Lake Fortune, we're taking these centurions with some spirits, and they have a good portion of Triton guards and what are these, Triton troopers, to be able to hit with PD. So I don't believe there's any troops, but hoping, just like fighting, hoping their morale's already at 4 for these, 11, trying to route them with our centurions quickly. And here's Tritons going, and Atlantis have routed. So again, trying to use that fear aura, especially when they don't have too many troops. So it was mostly PD. They bumped up, lost some ghosts, but being able to utilize the centurions effectively. And we also attacked them. I believe this is a province where we collapsed our units where they had a lot of their ice guards. So they left a small regiment of ice guards, but not much, no major pre-support. So this is where we see that they had some bad scripting, got them ahead, and then collapsed in. But again, these ice guards, having all magical weapons, having ice protection, and again, if this was a frost province, they are able to really take care of our ghosts well. Because again, remember, ghosts have 0 protection, mediocre defense, but they're really banking on this ethereal. So even with buffed up on our side, we still lose a bit of ghosts to take out their ice guards on this. So we reclaim that, and then they attack us 2 more times in the sea. So here they take out, looks like, and reclaim a province in the ocean. And here is where we were attacking them. Not going to look at it, they didn't have anything either to take out. So but showing you where it was, they had a temple here, so we're continuing pushing deeper in. So as Lemuria, I'm trying to be more aggressive, and this army is quite strong, especially with a consul and this hero, this Wraith Lord. I'm trying to dive deep into Atlantis, disrupt as much as I can, hit some provinces. Like here we raise a temple. The plan is to still keep hitting, and if everything goes well, be able to surround their cap, and even maybe push on their cap and help stop some of their recruitment. But we'll see if we get there. What else happened this turn? So we had some events. So here is Nightfall getting hit. I fully believe this is Atlantis now, hitting us with these blizzards and cold, and trying to keep the temperature scales down to be able to increase our ice guard, because this is the, I think, third blizzard that we've had. So we had a battle in Warshin. It looks like a large force came in to attack here. So this was a province we took a little bit ago. So they have stood up and reclaimed that back. Royal Forest, gems, wonderful, Jome, large amount of unrest, which we're just finishing a palisade. Glad they did not attack. Here they have killed another scout, so Atlantis is patrolling well. It's hard to get us scouts in. We still have a few in their lands that we're wanting to keep out, but that's 2 scouts now, and turns back to back they removed. Here they took it out before we could move it up and complete the construction of the castle, and that's it. So what are we doing in this turn? So let's just start on where the most of the war is, and then move to the east like we have been. So we're still taking out. We're trying to move around and try to be annoying to combat them. If we can get lucky, maybe go ahead and hit around Atlantis' cap. We see a lot of units up in Green Waters and on the south here in Uplot. So let's knock them off the fort. This is where the main army is. So we're bringing in a large portion here. Having console, still don't have gems. We really need to be bringing in gems to assist with anti-magic as well, help with banishing. But this trying to, I don't believe they'll stay here. So trying to reclaim that. To keep adding pressure, we're also attacking to maybe cut off. So the goal here is, let's say they do stay here. But what they could do, they could go north. That doesn't really give them anything. They could try to siege this. Has plenty of supplies still, and it's not completely dead. So they could stay here. If they do, I want to make sure to cut off the retreat line. So taking a large force and hitting it here as well. And because they don't have a ton of units here. Now granted, they will probably be able to beat this, but it may be close. Actually no, a lot of these units are shades. They should be able to beat these unless we get some really good fear checks here. But want to stop up any of these lines, and if they move up, I'm imagining these will collapse. So if they do stay, they'll win, but I can try to clean up on the backside and cut off retreats in the future. This is iffy. Yes, I have a console, but these ice guards, we're not doing overwhelming forces here. So what else are we doing? We're still bringing up troops. So building castles along our side using our gold treasury to do that. We only got a couple labs on this side before the war. Here's the third one, and we're sneaking over to it. We still haven't labbed up our throne, but we are doing it this turn. These fire mages may be able to help us, but we want to have the option, so we'll keep doing that here. But the main thing is pulling as many troops. Again, using these shadow tribunes, these holy ones, priest ones that spawn for us, to just shuttle troops. So again, bringing our crossbows where we can. If you here, we left these. We're going to be bringing up another group in, just trying to keep all our troops over. On this side, we're getting ready for a throne push. So we know these 2 thrones are very weak. I'm afraid to even get close to this one with Atlantis right here. But this one is still open. and we have a good amount of units here that we could move, and if we consolidate, I feel like over 100 and bring in some holies, like we're going to keep our pretender researching, but there's plenty of troops here to be ready for it. So bringing over again more troops to be able to hit this throne while we can and port it up. We've seen Gath and Oscarfali going back and forth a little bit and kind of staying down here, but I think that we could throw them off if needed. On the other side, Agartha, we know the nap is ending. Our palace is going up now, so good call it. We grabbed that or started that before the nap. We're also going to siege this fort down. If we can grab this, we'll at least have a placeholder in the water that we can start spawning, and getting a temple in the water will be wonderful as well. But keep still pushing. We do have a lot of Ice Guard coming in, but Ice Guard not as worried in the water because they lose that temperature, that cold scale buff, since you can't really have it in the deep sea. And in sea you can only have one, so we're not going to see that. And I should have a lot more domain on this side. So for research, just to catch up, we are still pushing through enchantment, trying to get rigor mortis, and which should be 6. I don't know why we're stopping at 5. Really should be pushing in. Maybe we're thinking that we could push a little bit into evocation, but want to hit both of these as much. So let's go ahead and think to turn 30. Alright, so let's jump into some of the fights. So here they're attacking. They're bringing their force to get closer to Lemuria. We don't have anything here. So let's go ahead and skip this one. So they take over another province close by in small C. So this is one, I believe, with their fort they had. And like I said, they just had PD with, yeah, that's, so closing in again. Not many losses here. Okay, Tepanita. This is the one that they're besieging our fort. So again, roll of Ice Guard. Still 2, which we saw from the last fight, but they brought in some more. So it looks like, I think they're sailing in, because I don't think they had 3 last time. So definitely stronger than fully expected. I do believe that is something sailing. So that's something to be mindful of that I forgot they had sailing of. But one awesome thing we're doing is sending these apparitions to get disease and early in as well while we buff up. But again, throwing out water elementals was not expecting this much, these forces. So instead of it being, I was expecting a slight defeat, we are 0 for 2 for major victories against Atlantis. And here our Grand Lemur is just going to get surrounded and just smashed. So yes, another big loss. So we lost pretty much everything, and they lose 9. Ouch. Atlantis has now 2 big victories underneath their belt here, and I underestimated them because I was only expecting one of these here, but I really do think they sailed units over and was able to get some reinforcements. So let's keep moving. They attacked in the Mornwood. Looks like they just hit this PD here that we were surrounding, trying to get around them, and then not going to really look at this. This is where our ambush further in the pit on the side of Atlantis. Lake Fortune, they took a large force here just to hit PD, and this was just us hitting PD where they moved all these troops, so we kind of bounced, traded places there. And then lastly, Sea of Ron. So it looks like we actually defended this with our PD here. So we keep saying like just having one PD will be helpful. Here underwater, without magic weapons and this ability to life drain, you see he's able to rout them. So out of how many provinces they hit PD? 3, 1 stayed, even with a mage in it. So let's see if Ron. So let's jump here. So we were able to keep this province here and scattered their troops. So, all right. And then they didn't have any forces here. So let's look at our events. So, unfortunately, disease, population dying, unrest, misfortune, and nature gems. Here, Abyssia discovered one of our scouts that we had on Abyssia, so we're down 3 scouts across 3 turns, but we did complete a lot of our palisades and fortresses, and we've started attacking the fort underwater, and they're still impacting us. So what are we going to do this turn? We are 0 for 2 with Atlantis. It's not looking good right now, but we did bring in a lot of our forces, hoping that if we did rout them, we had cut off supply lines. So what to do now? The goal is to retake these lands and bring a lot of our army up here. So we are bringing in, we have several of these Shadow Tribunes to help with unholy powers. We're going to break the siege for the people inside of it and bring in our ghosts. We have one of our consuls and one of our lemurs coming in. Now, this is where I think I mentioned I made a mistake. So I did not catch that luck did not go off, so I'm still scripting for luck. Again, they'll skip it there, but just for people's knowledge, luck does not impact undead. And the only troops we have crossbowmen, but unfortunately I would have changed that, but this is where I do learn about it as well. So bringing in a lot of these troops, trying to add in lines. Should have had more attack rears on this as well to come in and assist. But after, again, looking at that last battle, I really should be holding off and probably diving further in. They're not, yes, it's damaged, but we can siege up and wait one more turn to bring in. Really wish we had probably just used this down here or stayed put to reclaim. But we are charging in to try to protect this as well. What are we doing on the other side? Well, we're still harassing. We see another temple. We're going to dive for that. I don't think it's going to be too contested, but just still trying to be that disruptive. We're bringing in more troops since our palisade's up. We're going to immediately start building a fortress. Again, not next turn, but turn after. So we should be able to finish it in time unless they bring in troops. But we want to knock down this fort if we can. So still harassing Elantris, still pulling in troops. We're also, as mentioned, attacking this throne. So pulling in a lot here. It's a decent amount. It's nothing large, and we have some pre-support here. But this at 80 units is, we already pinged it once. It's not like to be a big deal. So thinking this is enough to just go ahead, clean it up, and grab that and start building up. And we're still pulling troops for our Atlantis side, and we're still diving scouts into the back lines of Atlantis. Since we're lost some scouts, we want to keep this presence, this visibility up. On the north side, we have this large army here, and really not, and this one here. I'm not really worried about them attacking Lemuria, but wanting to get castles up where we can. I believe, we started building a palisade here behind this one, in case we have an issue with Argartha coming in, and I really want to start building up these lands as well and getting them forted up as soon as possible. On our temple side, we did pass Temple 15, I think, a turn or so ago, so we are at Dom 9, getting 9 death gems. And so we're being able to almost make a consul turn or a lemur every couple turns. So I think this turn we're holding off. Again, moving our grand lemurs out, still trying to push that research what we can. I feel very lacking that, but also trying to go out and defend this area and be ready if they attack here. So moving troops around, but really this area is going to be a large contention force. We're getting ready for Gartha as well and trying to hit that throne. So let's hit 31 before we call it tonight. All right, a lot more battles with Atlantis. So let's actually, I'm going to look to see which ones are large. So here's no losses that we just hit. Hallwoods. Oh, this is where we hit land. They only had one force here. You had plenty of PD, but we were able to just come in and destroy their temple. Not a big deal. Shadow Sea, we only had one PD, so they had a victory there, had a victory there. So they're taking back the provinces where they can, and a pit. So again, keeping troops, claiming what we've recently taken as we try to dive further into their provinces. Here's the big one that we lost last time. So we have brought pretty much all of our lines that we can and our crossbows and what do they have? So they have their 3 priests. It doesn't have reinforced a lot, and I don't think they're going to have elementals for support this time. So they cast. Well, let's go ahead and watch this. With that little force. Dust to dust, going out. Trying to chew through. Again, this protection is just painful. It does look like we're slowly making ground. And now Banishment's coming in online as well. And it looks like our front line is melting. So the Ice Guards in Thredo Square are able to push through and win the day. So what do we have in the back as our troops start running away? Well, we have a Grand Lemur. And it's not going to be enough. We don't have any other big spells, unfortunately, for this battle. We don't have Wailing Winds. We don't have Rigor Mortis. And the consul now, I missed him, is just surrounded. But he's going to be making good showing. So again, these things, recuperation, high protection, fear and awe. The chill is not going to do anything. And this pike. So again, just doing a lot of repelling happening here. And this is why we make those pikes. If you look at all these attacks going off, they're all being repelled. These things are armies amongst themselves. And so one good thing that the Atlantis player did not know is, you saw in the script, Lemuria has routed at this point. However, Immortals are going to stay on. They have no issue staying on. They're like, we're going to come back. So even though everything else has routed from Lemuria's side, you see this console, and look at this. These Ice Guards have fled. And now you see Apostates coming out as well. And we've taken over one of their big mages from the cap. We've taken over 2, actually. See 2 of these now on Lemuria's side. But they're getting blocked. Let's see if they make it. 1 makes it. 2 makes it. So this is a good lesson. Like, even with and we lost a lot of ghosts for this and retreated. Lost almost everything. 200 again, doing just killing these ghosts. Are your commanders that are immortal are not going to rout, and these consoles with a pike, as you saw, giving them a pike just increases their survivability so much. Turning that length 1 into a 5 magic weapon, it just held its own that whole time. And we got 2 priests out of it. So this was, I would like to say, a victory from Lemuria, but we did lose all of our chaff. But I think losing this to kill, again, just 50, most of their ice, or not even most, I'd say half their ice guards, and got 2 of their cat mages was recruitment 4. I mean, these are their big ones. We can, and this allows us to dip high into water. I would say it's a victory for Lemuria. So we will take it. Let's just say we're looking for a win, so we'll take that one. Here, not going to stop in. They take over another province. This is where we are pushing on them, just fighting PD. They're just attacking our PD that we lose. It looks like they have one of their heroes, Once and Future Queen. Holy 4, this is going to be painful. Mornwoods, we just attacked their PD. So here's where one of our PD is effective again, fearing them away. So there's one. They defeat this one. Alright, so here is the Throne Province. I kind of skipped ahead. Let's see how this one goes. So we didn't bring a ton in. We just brought in a few infantry. And yeah, they don't really have a lot either. They haven't changed. Looks like a few mages with death gems overall. But that could be painful. So they have plenty of undead they're making back here. And without consoles, and this is one thing, without these crossbow consoles at the front to fear, and these crossbow, they actually rout Lemuria. And if we just had a little bit more, I think it would have been a very solidly win. Oop. But now Dust to Dust is just starting to pop us off. Yep, and there we go. So they pretty much lost all their chaff, but they have their mage line, and we retreated. So this was a mistake number big 9 for me, I think, is if I had just brought in 1 console, or at least 2, this would have been very differently and could have grabbed this very easily. But instead, we lost half our army, and Shadow Tribune was killed, and the Shade King was fine. So we lost the Shadow Tribune as well, one of our priests ones. So that's hurt, painful as well. And here's another attack against PD 4. So just going in provinces, they took 1, 2, and we repelled here 3, 4, 5 provinces, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 4, 5, 6. So Atlantis took 6. We took back 1, 2, 3, 4, and successfully defended 1. So it's still fairly split with units. I would say the biggest one was around this one province that's on the border. It's starting to try to push back heat in it, which will be helpful. But there's a lot coming in. So let's go ahead and quickly wrap the turn up, and then we'll stop this episode before our war with Agartha starts. So what are our events? So we have some golden gems. Yay. Another try to push in. So here we lost this province from Indies, and we got some astral pearls. So finishing some constructions, and we are breaching Small Sea. So we're going to be fighting that next turn. So what are we doing? Well, we got these wonderful priests, really adding to our mage court lineup, and we have a lot. We're wanting to pull in a lot of our army. So instead of being aggressive, our initial feints have failed, but we are going out and moving all these Shadow Tribunes. So you see all of this to go to different forts to bring in more ghosts. And we're prepping for the next war. So getting people moving in where they can to get to forts to pull ghosts from and to resupply what we've lost here. Research, we're going to be hitting enchantment 5. I think I just jumped down to Evo 3 to start there, but really need enchantment 6 for Rigor Mortis. Here we're still moving things up, bringing I think more crossbows in that we've been indie recruiting. We haven't started mage yet. We were thinking about it. Maybe we should have already started a fire mage, but decided not to. Still researching, and we're trying to take this in. So with the little troops that we have left, we're going to move back in because thinking to ourselves, they don't really have a lot left, so let's go ahead and grab that. And then and we see Argartha moving in, so we know they're going to be hitting next turn. But I think we can defend this, especially trying to build a fortress. If they hold off, we'll have that fortress going up. If they don't, we're defending with what we can. And should be storming and taking over this fort. And if we take this one, which is a large amount of chaff, plus our profit is still over here, we'll be able to nab that. I think we should be able to take these armies without a problem with this much, storm it, and then be ready for the next one. Up here, since they've definitely landed on our coast, we want to protect. Wanted to really build a palisade. We're building one here. But we'd like to start one here and make sure they're not diving too far in, so we want to cut them off. So if they come to Utgard, fine, but because that can be defended easier, but we don't want them to just march through and hit Province 59. What else? I think that's it for the turn. Yeah, we will go ahead and call it. Again, Argartha, we're not seeing a lot. They did take Marion on, and we see this large. It looks like they have several crossbows coming in. I wish we had seen more of what their research path was, but we really didn't get it from Marignon, so I guess we'll be seeing it. But looking to be ready for that, and we have just one scout there, and moving more scouts in to Atlantis. Last thing we're doing, what are we doing with this grouping? We're wanting to pull it back, so we did successfully hamper them a little bit, but I realized this war is not going to. We could push further in, but just in case Argartha just decimates me, I'm going to pull them in, grab this Indy one as well, and be able to defend no matter what. So the thought is, maybe we can even pressure Argartha and jump down here, and with Marignon, but we'll see. But wanted to grab that and give us options depending on what comes out of. If they attack immediately, what goes on with Atlantis, make sure they're not cutting me off, and because we don't have solid state. So, yeah, thank you for watching. We are up to 31, and 32, next episode, we'll start with the war on the east and western fronts. Thanks, and have a great day.